Okay, this is a quick Onshape tutorial to make your little obstacles for your pinball machine. Hopefully you would have already completed some of these other tutorials in Canvas. So to find them, you just need to go to 3.0 Introduction to CAD and 3D Modeling. At the very least, you need to complete these couple of tutorials, so part 1 and even part 2. But let's assume you've already done part 1. Part 1 looks a lot like this here. Just let me show you really quickly. Okay, so part 1 is where you've actually got a bit of a feel for the different sort of tools and interface for Onshape, the different tools that you can use to create shapes. So once you've done this, and this will probably take about half an hour or so, then you're ready to create the flipper. Okay, so let's go back to Onshape, create a new document. Okay, just like that. Call it spinner. And this is going to create a new document for you. You just want to double check, and this is important, or else we won't be able to 3D print your work. Click on these 3 lines, and you want to check workspace units. So click on workspace units. Now this might be defaulted to one of these other measurements, but you want to click on millimeter. Okay, everything else should be okay, but just make sure it's millimeter, and then press the green OK. Once we've got that, we can start creating a sketch. Now you can use a sketch tool, and then we want to click on the plane. We want to use the top plane. See when I hover my mouse? Now obviously having a mouse will be so much easier for you to use Onshape with, but if you don't, you can kind of struggle with a keyboard, but it'll still work. Okay, but if you have a mouse, even better. So as you hover these different planes, it turns to yellow. Click on the top plane. Okay, so that's now selected. Now you can use this to navigate around the little cube that we have here. So I can turn this around, but we want to focus on sketching on the top plane. So I can click on the top plane. Now that we have the top plane, we're going to create 2 circles. So in case you don't see this, you have the little down arrows. We want to create 2 circles. Let's just create the first one. Here's one, and here's another one. Doesn't matter what position they're in or what size. We can change that later. Now we want to constrain them, or actually put them on top of each other so they're aligned. Go here where it says constraints, and you want to click them down and use concentric. Okay, so you have all these different options. Click on concentric, and now you want to select these 2 shapes. So click and click that and this, and then they're going to snap in place, and now they're going to be centered. Okay, so now we want to change the dimensions of the sizes for each of these. So if you click on dimensions, let's change this whole first. Actually, let's change this large one first. You don't want to make this anything bigger than, say, 40 mils. Okay, so let's go about 40. So we're using millimeters. And then this hole, where the screw is going to go through, that's going to be 3.5. Okay. So if you have a mouse, you can use a scroll wheel, or you can use Shift Z or Z to zoom in and out, but much easier with a mouse. Okay. So let's start off with trying to cut shapes out of the circle. You can experiment with these different sort of lines and different shapes, but for now let's just stick with this line. And I don't know, let's just start off with creating a little triangle that we're going to duplicate. Okay, so just with this straight line, you'll see that if I get to the center, the yellow circle lights up, indicating that I'm in the center of this circle. We're going to click on that, and then click there as well. Just like on Illustrator, press Escape to get rid of this line. So I'm going to press the Escape key. Now that we have these 2 lines, we want to duplicate that all the way around. So you want to go up here and click on Circular Pattern. So it might be a linear pattern, but you want to click on Circular Pattern. Once I've clicked on that, and now I want to click on the lines or the shapes that we want to duplicate in a circular pattern. So I'm going to click on this line, and on that line. Okay, so you might need to zoom out, and you need to drag, click, and then drag. Okay, so you want to click and then drag this to the middle, just like that when it snaps in place. So there you have it. So now we have these two lines that's duplicated around. If you wanted to, you can click on that 3x and change it to 4. Okay. Or you can press 5, pressing tab after pressing the tab key after that. So now I've got 5 of those shapes, but let's just for now stick with 3, press tab, and then now we want to just press on our left mouse or just press on your left key. Okay, so now we have that. Now, if you press OK for whatever reason and you can't work out how to get back, you can't edit this directly. You have to go to the left and double click on Sketch. Okay, so there we have it. Now we want to trim out these curved lines just so that we can get this shape in the middle. Use the trim tool. That's a little scissors. Click on that, this, and that. And then now you have your shape. We're now going to extrude it really quickly. We're going to press on extrude. Now, but before you do that, you can go back to this circle and you'll see that, okay, let me just undo that. Okay. Once we've got to this view here, this is where you were. I'm going to click on the little corners, click on the extrude, and then click on that shape. That'll extrude it to whatever the depth is, or whatever default depth is. You don't want to go higher than 10. Okay, that's going to be the maximum for your spinner. Press OK, and now you have a 3D object that you can kind of move around. Now, just for a little something, just so that you have some curve corners, play with this fillet tool. I'm going to click on this fillet tool, and I'm going to click on just these outside corners, and you can see that this made a fillet of 5 millimeters on these corners. Now you can set that to 2, press tab, or you can set it to, I don't know, 8, and that's the fillet for that corner. For this corner, I'm going to move this around. I'll do it for this corner, and then there you have it. There's your little fidget spinner, or a little spinner for your obstacle or your pinball machine. Now to export that, once you press OK, you can still move that around. To export it so it's ready for 3D printing that you want to give to your teacher, right click on that object. Okay, just right click on that. Nope, just let me go back just so that okay. Right click on this shape and click on export. Just here. Okay, so once again, if you're zoomed in, it doesn't matter. You can click on the whole shape and click on export. Once you've got once this pops up, make sure that the format's STL. Don't choose any of these other ones in case that's been selected by default. Make sure it's STL. Make sure it's binary. Make sure it's millimeters, nothing else, and the resolution should be fine. Okay, export that. Save it. For now, I'm going to save it as Amara Spinner 2. That's the file that you want to send to your teacher so that we can print that out for you. Okay, that's one really simple object. Have a bit of a play with the different objects that you can create, on cutting out objects, on extruding other things, and then, yeah, let me know how you go.